no, everybody wants glory days. So I'll say glory, 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 United, glory, and of course, in Italy, the Milan derby, Milan is showing the shrewdness. This could be the first time they're going to be winning back-to-back Scudetto since 1994. Um, Happy days all across Europe. Good one for United. Liverpool with their problems. Man City looks beatable at the end of the day. My name is Laleja Adebowale. Still News Starter Sports. This is the best sporting show in the whole of wide world. Airing, of course, on a band radio scope on our YouTube channel, Spotify, Twitch, and everywhere else that you can think of. I'll let my co-hosts introduce themselves. Start with Olawale. Olawale, go ahead.
Yeah, good day, sporting fans around the world. Welcome to the show. We have a lot to digest with you guys. There are a lot of issues for us to discuss with you. I hope you are going to have a nice time on the show with us.
Shay, go ahead, please.
Yeah, good day, everyone. Welcome to this week, this week's edition of a sports show. Uh, Great week for Manchester United fans. I can see Debo smiling, and wasn't a good one for the Gunners. But of course, we can see the United Army getting their feet gradually, and hopefully this becomes a resurgent a resurgence for the whole Red Army, and we can see them picking the Premier League trophy at the end of the season. I know a lot of
Wow,
people.
that's possible.
I know a lot
It's
of
possible.
people would not agree with me on this show, but I'm just keeping
No,
the
I do,
faith. You're
I do
welcome,
agree
everyone.
with you, 100%. Kachi,
Sports fans, in the famous words of Olawale, welcome to the show. As a fan, I'm happy that the transfer window has ended, and all those people looking to pry my young, prodigious talent, Rafael Leo, can now rest for at least one more season. As an analyst, I'm so impressed by what that young man is turning into. A side note, a total of 2.2 billion pounds was spent in transfer in the EPL transfer market, breaking the previously held record. We saw last minute moves. All this we will let you know about. Obama Yang, was it a right move to wear the cursed number 9 in Chelsea? We'll find out in due time.
all right, perfect. Thank you very much for reminding me and making me sad that Aubameyang is at Chelsea right now. You know that is the move. So I was watching the All for Nothing show, and I could not, I can't wrap myself, I can't wrap my head around the fact that Aubameyang was contract was terminated, went to Barcelona for free, and now coming back to Chelsea. And some people have the bold and the audacity to call Aubameyang a snake. I wonder what kind of world they live in. Anyways, not to go on and on because Kachi just knows how to ruin my mood, but I'm not going to allow him to do that. 23 Grand Slams, a record of 192 wins against 34 losses in the doubles, giving you a 5% record. First Grand Slam in 1997. Australian Open in 2003, 2005, 2007, 2009, 2010, 2015, 2017. French Open in 2002, 2013, 2015. Wimbledon in 2002, 2003, 2009, 2010, 2012, 2015, 2016. US Open in 1999, 2002, 2008, 2012, 13, and 14, which makes it 3 consecutive years. A total number of 23 career Grand Slams for this not so young lady anymore. And we're talking about no other person apart from the 40-year-old according to Kachi, the best athlete in the history of any kind of sport. That includes LeBron James, of course, and Michael Jordan. Um, Serena Williams. The curtain has been drawn. Last game played at the US Open. Of course, we didn't expect her to win. She lost in three sets. Wasn't a straight set. She tried to do a battle for herself. And don't forget that she also has Olympic. She's also Olympic gold medalist as well. I know we've talked about Serena and what she has done in the beautiful game. But of course, we can't gloss over the reputation of the best female athlete or female tennis player in the open era, as they like to call it. I don't see anything between open and old era, anyways. But for me, let's just use their word or their panache. That's open era. If you had to describe Serena just in one word, Sheyi, what would be the word? Just one word to describe Serena.
Wow, so much great words you could use to describe the great Serena Jamaica Williams. And I would say, for me, wow, probably
Wow.
I'm just lost, for words to really describe Serena. And I'll just say outstanding,
She
outstanding.
you use the right word
I
already.
think
Wow.
I think
wow.
wow is just the best
I
word to
think
use. Honestly,
I
honestly.
sincerely, our career has been something that it's not easy to really describe if you look at the tennis world, and
Uh-huh.
especially the female, we mean the women's version of the tennis, because we really know that it takes a lot for all these ladies to stay at the top for that long. So really, let me just say wow.
All right, perfect. Kashi, one word for Serena.
Uh, 23 singles Grand Slam championship, 14 doubles Grand Slam wins, 14 and 0 in doubles final. They never lost any doubles final in the open era. I would use an acronym. It's just going to be GOAT, greatest of all time. I cannot use a word. I have to use an acronym. Serena
Okay.
Williams
All
is
right.
the GOAT.
All right. Perfect. The only anti Serena guy that I know in the world, Ola. You are muted, Ola. We can't hear you.
Before Olawale
Serena.
says anything, I want our listeners to know that it's because
No, no.
Serena chased away all the female tennis players that Olawale loved. That is where the hatred is coming from.
So, Ola, one
No,
word
I
for
don't.
Serena.
I think hatred is the wrong word. I'm not. I have not been a fan. Doesn't mean I hate her. I think we can get
No,
that
I
one
just,
from
I
the
was, that
street.
was, that, no, no,
Um,
that was just a joke.
I think for me, I
One word
think
for Serena.
yeah, it just have to be longevity. Because considering if you look at the time she won her first title, which I think is 99. I'm not sure it's 97. I think
1999 was 1999.
1999. Yes, 1999.
Yeah, US Open.
And looking
Yeah.
at 1999, which was the US Open. I think it was the last Grand Slam of the year. Yeah. So looking at from
Yeah.
99 to date is like 20. What do you call it? 20. That's close. That's
23,
close to 20,
23
23
years.
years.
Yeah, she
And
won it when she was
uh,
17. So,
yeah, and between that 1999 to let me say 2006 or 16, or was this? I think it was 16 when she went on that break to gave birth. You could hardly see her slowing down in any of the. I'm not sure. Of course, it wasn't like she won Grand Slam in each of those years, but I don't think there was any year you could talk about tennis that you probably won't mention a name in any of those years. So that
yes.
shows a lot. It's because see, it's easy to win championship. To stay motivated is another thing entirely. If you ask sports,
Yeah.
if you ask guys who are either sport guys, even team sport, not talk about individual sport, at least in team sport, you can live with another person's motivation, even when you are not that
Yeah.
motivated, because it's a team sport.
Mhm.
But when it comes to individual
100%.
sport, it has to be your own motivation to be
Yeah.
motivated to stay
So
at the top,
you
relevant.
use the word longevity for you, Olawale.
Exactly, exactly.
I just Kachi, I just sense a little bit of jealousy. Anyways, for me,
No,
I'll
no,
use
no, I don't think so. I
Jealousy of
don't
what?
think
for
so.
me, for me, I'll use one word for Serena, and I'm pretty sure it's a word that all the panelists here do not agree with. I'll use the word dominance.
Consistency.
I use the word dominance. All right, perfect. Talking about Serena, we've seen it all. She has done it all, and honestly, she deserves any accolade she gets. And whatever it is that I've said about Lawale, it's just a banter. Olawale definitely loves Serena. I'm pretty sure Olawale was one of the first people that actually introduced Serena to me. I'm not sure, but I think so. Anyways, going away from that, we'll talk about a little bit about NBA. And I was talking to Kachi during the preparation call, and Kachi seemed to be hyped up about the move of Donovan Mitchell to the Cavs, and he rightly pointed out something to me that it was because of Isaiah Mobley's injury that stopped them from getting into the playoffs. That probably would not even see the Nets in the playoffs last season. And I'm looking at the roster. I don't know. It's not freakish to me. It does not scare me. And but Alali, I'm going to start with you. What does the addition of Donovan Mitchell, what does his addition add to this team that makes it a contending team, so to speak?
Yeah, the Cavs are adding a star, a well-established NBA star, a guy who is guaranteed of giving them a 23 points, who can average 23 points per night. In the NBA is a star. I won't use the word superstar.
Superstar.
And for
Yes.
yeah, and considering the what do you call the talent the Cleveland Cavaliers presently have in their fold, I think it's a positive addition. It's an addition that will guarantee them at least consistently being a playoff team, not a team at the borderline. So beyond the playoff team, because my only issue with Donovan Mitchell is just his efficiency and ability to efficiency. It's a kind of a guy that can score 30 points on 30 shots
Mhm.
per night. So ability to get the best out of the other guys, I'm not sure. And those are the area of his game that he will need to probably work on.
Work
But
on
generally, I think it guarantees the Cleveland Cavaliers being a regular playoff team.
playoff team. Okay.
How far they can now probably go, it's another question entirely.
All right, perfect. Thank you very much for that. Kachi, I'm going to come to you, and I have just one question for you. And it's the fact that sometimes people don't see young talents, and we don't appreciate them until they do something exceptional, right?
Mhm.
And I'll give you an example of the Celtic team. The Celtic team is a roster made apart from maybe Harrison, I've forgotten his name right now. Um, Apart from him, the team is made up of young stars. Do you think over years this is something that the Cavs can replicate? And also, do you think they can replicate that?
Thanks, Deborah. Absolutely. I believe they can replicate, if not necessarily use the same model, but they are all almost already using that model, which is have an organic young
Growth.
a pool of young talents that play well with each other without any ego, um, and then just add a star like Olawale call him. I also agree. I don't think Mitchell is a superstar yet,
Just start,
but
just
I
yet.
think
Yeah.
he's a star in the mode of the Jason Tatum to a team that has no ego and there's no one that wants to demand for the ball longer than they really should have it. that team without Donovan Mitchell and with only Kevin Love as the established name, and the guy who finished second in the Rookie of the Year, Ivan Mobley, where they were at a point the fourth or fifth seed in the Eastern Conference. So there's a unity there that I think just sprinkling that about Mitchell's efficiency can propel them to
to greater
where I
heights.
think they should get to. So I agree with Olawale that yes, they will consistently become a playoff team. But you will also know that to win the championship or to win in the playoff takes more than just who you have. It takes it being injury-free, health. It also takes some of the calls going your way.
Yeah, of
I
course.
see the Cavs replicating in the Celtics model in the sense that they have a young core of immensely talented youngsters that will look up to Donovan Mitchell and look to be guided by him. I'm
But
excited to see how they will play this season.
All right, perfect. Thank you very much. Olali, you wanted to add something to
no,
that
I just
quickly?
yeah, what Kachi said. I think do they have any other choice than to adopt what do you call it? The Celtics model.
United from no
No. What I meant by that is Cleveland is not a destination to any free agents for now. In fact, I'm very surprised that of course
Mitchell
the
went
trade
there.
is probably, but of course the trade is probably in as much as I think 70% is not in Mitchell's hand. The Utah Jazz could decide to do anything they want to do, but at least
Yeah.
it's a kudos to them that they could even attract, were able to negotiate this kind of deal, and without really giving up too much. I think it's a
So
kudos to them.
much.
But
Yeah.
again, this is what they can do. They can't attract what do you call it, free agents, free agent. They have to develop their own superstar.
All right, perfect. Thank you very much for that, Olali, for that addition, Olali. I hope my sound is pretty good, Kachi. Let me know if my sound is bad right
Yeah,
now.
it's
I'm
good.
not so
It's
sure
good.
about my sound
It's
for
good.
some
It's good.
specific
It's good.
reason. All right, perfect. And moving on to boxing. I looked at Ruiz and I look scared if I'm fighting against Ruiz right now. And the Ruiz, the fat guy that fought against Anthony Joshua in the UK before he got defeated in Saudi Arabia, and these Ruiz are two different animals. And we know he's an heavy puncher, he's skillful, he's fast, and I can imagine what a leaner Ruiz can do to any boxer on a good day, on his own day. And now Luis Ortiz is fighting against Ruiz. I'm not going to lie to the audience. I don't even know what Luis Ortiz is. She is going to lecture me right now, and I'm willing to learn. Sheyi, what are we looking to? What are we looking forward to for this match?
I think we're looking at a proper heavyweight boxing. I still believe this is going to be quite more interesting than the Usyk Joshua bout. No disrespect to the two uh,
Two
champion and the
boxers.
former champion, but if you're talking if you're talking about proper heavyweight bouts, this is where you're gonna get it. Luis Ortiz nickname is King Kong. He's a big, tall heavyweight boxer, and is one of the heavy eaters when it comes to this division. And this is a guy with close to 70% knockout record. And guess
Wow.
what? He has two losses to who? To Deontay Wilder. Wilder won,
Oh,
yes, against Wilder the first time and the second time. And if you look back at those fights, he was already dominating Wilder. And for me as a boxing fan, I think it was actually Luis Ortiz that exposed Deontay Wilder in the two fights, because it was going to outbox Wilder from the beginning to the end until that
the knockout.
that knockout, both fights. So talking about Andy Ruiz, I think Andy Ruiz has learned also over the years. He has something working for him at the moment, his age, and also, like you said, he's a fast boxer. Luis Ortiz is 43, Andy Ruiz is 32. And I think Ortiz, even though Ortiz started his boxing career late, he actually
Late,
started
yeah.
at the age of 30. and
30,
that
yeah.
is when most boxers are actually peaking. So it's going to be like a little bit of mismatch, but we are going to see a proper heavyweight match between the two. I'm leaning towards Andy Ruiz, just like you, because of the age and his fastness. And also, if you recall the way he got up from the canvas against Joshua, you know that
Uh-huh.
Ruiz can actually take a lot of, a lot of what's
Every
called
punch.
punches and still come at you. So just for that, I think Andy Ruiz might just edge this on the night.
All right, perfect. Kachi, I don't know if you have one thing to say about it. Given what we see, we both saw Ruiz transformation. It looks like a gangster right now. From his look, the tattoos, the lean body, and I'm wondering how a 43-year-old can take so much. He can only do
The,
much,
the,
honestly.
the, the truth is, I'm also excited about this fight itself. I have nothing to contradict what Shea has said. Ortiz himself uh, was a late bloomer, let's put it that way.
Uh-huh.
Otherwise, we would have taken him a whole lot more serious than we are right now. Um,
100%.
but big kudos also to Andy Ruiz for realizing that he also deprived himself of some really marquee fights and maybe marquee money by his indiscipline. But you never knock any man down because he's down. I appreciate the
Yeah,
fact that he's back up. That division right now, if Tyson Fury doesn't return, then every single person you are seeing there right now has a shot at
short. Other
Usyk,
words,
and
yeah,
and they and they have to
100%.
take advantage of it.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited to see how that fight turns out. We will talk about other heavyweight fights happening in coming weeks. Deontay Wilder also having an interesting thing happening,
Yeah.
but we'll see how everybody will collide until they get a shot at Alexander Usyk.
All right, perfect. Thank you very much for that. But for me, anyways, Shay, Wilder versus Lenos, I don't see. Honestly, I know most people knock Wilder for being an heavy puncher and he's not skillful and whatnot. And but this guy has lost just two bouts in his whole career. It works well for him. The heavy punch does work well for him. And even Fury that defeated him twice, he felt Fury hit the canvas twice against him. And if not
Yeah.
because of I don't know how the referee was slow, I think in the second match or the third one, he probably would have won uh, uh, um, uh, Tyson Fury.
Yeah,
Anybody can argue.
I
Everybody
think
can
the
argue
first,
with that. It was
I
the
think the
first one,
first
right?
one. Yeah.
Exactly. He could have actually won. So for me, I'm leaning towards Wilder. Elena's much respect to him, but I'm leaning towards Wilder. But correct me if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure
Okay.
you tell me something I don't know.
No, I think it's just the normal thing for us to look at. Wilder is a former champion, is a knockout artist. But guess what? Uh, Robert Elenius actually was a sparring partner for Wilder during his when he was preparing for Fury
Oh
bouts,
wow.
because
So he knows
he
his
has that
skills.
physique, that height, and
Oh
that kind of
wow.
body. So we are talking of two boxers that probably know each other
Knows
very
each
well,
other very well.
that
Yeah.
probably knows the positive and the negative of each other's skill. So um, it's just gonna be dicey for Wilder. But guess what? Wilder needs to get back on his feet. That is what is most important for him at the moment. I see I see nothing going wrong for Wilder in this particular bout. Wilder all the way.
What are the okay, perfect. Thank you, Alice. Kachi is not going to make so much fun of me for getting this one wrong. Because she is leading towards me actually, and I'm pretty sure if you guys watch it, you can't be leading towards me as well. Yay! One score for team Adebowale. All right, perfect. Thank you very much for that. We'll move straight into the football world while we'll be discussing the UEFA Champions League. Number of variety of games in the UEFA Champions League right now. You look at the fixtures, I'm like, okay, how would this one go? And this looks dicey when you look at the fixtures itself. But I'm going to start with you, Olawale. Give me what's your possible scoreline, what you think the scoreline would be, or if you don't want to give me the scoreline, just tell me who you think is going to win. If that's going to take so much of time, and of course for the big games, you
Okay.
can give me a little bit of analysis of what we should look out for in those kind of games.
Okay.
Dinamo Zagreb versus Chelsea. I'm pretty sure you go for Chelsea.
Of course, it's a Chelsea win, but the most important thing is just to see how Chelsea is going to play because they look like a team out of sort in terms of, I don't think they have any idea of how they actually want to play football now. I think that would be the most interesting thing about the game, how
City, yeah.
Chelsea are going to play.
All right, perfect. Shay, that Dortmund versus Copenhagen is going to be playing. They're going to be playing in Germany anyways, so you should expect Marco
Yeah.
Reus to continue with his red.
Yeah. I think that is expected. Dortmund should take this.
Okay.
Dortmund should go
All
ahead
right,
and take this home
All
win.
right. Okay, perfect. Kachi, Benfica versus Maccabi Haifa. You remember a certain Yakuba Egbe that used to play for this club?
Yeah.
Not just Yakuba Igwe. I think Enyama also played. I think
Yeah,
Enyama
okay.
also played for Haifa
Dylan
at some
Ilugbatu
point.
did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think this should be an easy win for Benfica. Well, nothing is easy in the Champions League. We remember the young boys from last season, but I expect Benfica to take care of business and get the 3 points.
All right, perfect. Olale, Sevilla versus Man City. City looks beatable. This like as it stands right now, Sevilla is not blooming of confidence as well. What's your take on this one?
Yeah, Sevilla lost over the weekend to Barcelona 3-0, and they hardly put on a fight in that game. It was an easy victory for Barcelona. That one probably due to the way Barcelona probably approached the game. So I don't expect anything such different from the game against, what do you call it, against City.
Yes,
I think it's going to be an easy win for City ahead of their most important. I think City will have a eye on the weekend match, which is going to be against Spurs. That's a team they probably
they've
struggle
struggled
against
against in
is
recent
of
times.
in recent times. So in as much as you expect them to be very, very quick to the game, if they could probably finish up the tie in the first 60 minutes and rest a couple of guys, looking ahead to the weekend's game.
All right, perfect. Sheyi, RB Salzburg versus Milan. Milan looks like I can tell you for free that Tonali is the best center midfielder in the world right now. For free. Who do you think is going to win this one?
Yeah, I think it's going to be dicey for Milan. I'll be Salzburg. I'll just go for a draw for this.
I think it's
For
a
this
draw.
one. All right,
Yes.
perfect. Kachi, I'm not going to ask you for your opinion because
I think it's a draw.
anyways.
Even though you don't ask me, I also expect it to be a draw.
I'm not going to ask you. Scrap that. Anybody that's listening, just scrap that. Whatever it is that Kachi said right now. Kachi, Celtic versus Real Madrid at the Hampden Park in
Yeah,
Scotland.
in
Hampton
Hampden
Park,
Park,
Yeah.
that place will be loud. It will be
I
vociferous.
don't forget that they just
They just walloped Rangers 4-0
Rangers
over the
4-0 over the
weekend.
weekend. So
The
they are
Ibrox
basking right now.
Derby. I know there will be, but there's just a steely nature to the current Madrid team where nothing phases them. They just know how to get the point. I think the excitement will get to the Celtic players and they will be prone to one or two errors. I expect Vinicius to run riots on that day. I think Madrid wins this.
All right, perfect. Olale, RB Leipzig versus Shakhtar Donetsk. Shakhtar are coming back. They have the Ukrainian Neyman. I was watching the kid on Twitter. I'm like, oh wow, this guy looks like the real deal.
Yeah, I think in the past, Russian and Ukrainian team are always a very tricky opponent, most especially in the first round of the UEFA Champions League. Sometimes they are very unpredictable. They have a way of getting some unexpected results. But for this, I think Shakhtar Donetsk, considering the war in what do you call it in Ukraine, they've lost some players on. Let me say, I think it was on free transfer or something, because I think there was a
Yeah.
there was a FIFA law that permits some of those guys to leave. Uh, I think this should be an easy victory for RB Leipzig. But before, yeah, please, I just want to make a reference to that Madrid Celtics game. Please watch out for a certain Diego Jota. It's not the same Diego Jota that plays for Liverpool. He's another one who plays for Celtic. He's a very good guy, and I think Hampton Park is going to be loud, and they might give Madrid some run for their money.
All right, perfect. Alale, run for their money. Is Celtic going to draw or win? Which one is run for their money?
Let me if it's a draw is a big win for Celtic now.
Okay, all right, perfect. So don't see that Olale is saying a potential draw for Celtic. So you know what I'm asking Olale? You know I don't like you. So when I come back next week, I'll be able to say, oh, you got
okay now.
Shay, I want to come next to you. A little bit a dicey one. PSG versus Juve. PSG continue with their good run of form. Messi providing the assist. It does not look like a steady goal scorer anymore. Neymar was given just 17 minutes to play over the weekend. They said the coach said he wants Neymar to be fresh because Neymar happens to be the best player for PSG right now.
This season.
What do you think is going to happen? Yeah, as it stands
the coach
right
said
now,
that.
he never said that. You want
even
him to
the
start.
stats.
He did not say so. But looking at the stats and
even
looking
the
at their
stats
games, Neymar is their
wait.
best player right now. But
Yeah.
the coach will not say that. He wants him to be sacked. Mbappe is going to sack him.
Mbappe is it.
Mbappe will sack him now.
That's what I'm saying. I'm even surprised he's saying something like that.
They said he needed to be rested for the game against Juventus. So he gave him just 17 minutes of walkabout in the match. They won the match comprehensively, I guess 3-0. Messi getting 2 assists as well. You know, Messi is just going to be Messi. He's still the best. Anytime. Shay,
Okay. I think PSG has already sent the message very clear that it's Champions League or nothing. And I think that's why they are resting. They're probably resting Neymar, who happens to be the guy for them this season. Of course, when you have great players playing in one team, you can go to bed and know that at least one of them should come out, come up with the goods. For this particular match, they are playing at home. I see no reason why they should not pick a win. Especially this is the first match of the Champions League. Every big team wants that 3 points on the board, even though they're playing against Juventus that we don't even know. I can't say they carry the Juventus, aura this season. But obviously it's going to be PSG attacking, Juventus defending. But at the end of the night, it's definitely going to be a PSG win.
All right, perfect. Thank you very much for that, Shay. Just staying on PSG for a little bit, Balali. I'm looking at that thing, and there's a core to that thing. The core of their new field, which happens to be their Achilles in the past. They're looking at a player like Vitina, special player. I don't know if everybody sees that. Renato Sanchez as well. Ruiz from Napoli, and they still have this Marco Verratti, which entirely sort out that midfield, if you ask me. How far do you think PSG will go this season? I'm a little bit excited about what they managed to gather in the middle of the park, and they have a coach that has a direction from what I've seen of them so far this season.
Yeah, I think for PSG, the extent they are going to go in this competition will depend on how much they can raise their game when it mattered most. Because I think one of the few problems that probably we've not really highlighted in the past that has always been the beam for PSG is, especially when the Champions League goes on break in November, the kind of opponents they play between that November and February, and get it back to Champions League in February, the standard is different entirely. The ability to recognize that this is the Champions League and we just have to raise the bar, I think we go a long way. How much you can minimize the drama within the team, in as much as the French league is not the most watched league around the world, but you can add a month can hardly pass without if one form of drama coming out of PSG or the other. And I think one other thing is the ability of the coach to strike the balance. As much as you want to have Neymar, Mbappe, and Messi on the pitch, you have to give something for another thing. Its ability to get the balance of the team right, like just you mentioned, what those guys can bring into the midfield. Because if you look at most championship winning teams, they were as much as you look at this, in as much as you look at the big stars scoring the goals, doing this, you can never underestimate what those guys who bring in those dirty jobs, making sure they protect the superstars, making sure the team doesn't concede goals. I think the ability to get the balance right, and finally, for all these guys to just bring their ego down and realize that they only have one job, to get PSG that elusive Champions League victory. I think those are the things that will tell us how far they are going to go in this year's UEFA Champions League.
All right. Perfect. Thank you very much for that, Olale. I'm just a little bit excited about it. Looking at the midfield, the solidity, what the role that Messi is playing in the team right now, and the fact that, but it's February. Neymar will get injured in February. He will go to Brazilian
Brazil.
For his sister's birthday.
That's another problem that could actually spring up along the line. Kachi, Ajax versus Rangers. Rangers would be not. They won't be in the best of mood right now, 100%. But Ajax for who they are. Ajax might decide not to come to the party as well.
Especially considering losing Anthony at the very last minute. That's a depleted Ajax team, but the style of football has not changed since I first heard of Ajax. So I expect that the next man up will come in. I think Ajax should still have more than enough, especially because it's going to be at the Ajax Arena. They should still have more than enough for Rangers, who are smarting from that. Let's also not forget that this is the first time Rangers will be coming back to the Champions League since 2010 and 2011 or so. So a lot of jitters. Giovanni Van Bronckhorst obviously knows how Ajax plays and may set up to counter them. But I think Ajax still wins by the third goal.
All right, perfect. Olale, Frankfurt versus Sporting Lisbon. Lisbon lost their talisman in Nunes to Wolverhampton Wanderers, but they are still a strong team nonetheless. But this is happening in Germany anyways.
This is going to be a bit tricky. You know what you get from a typical Portuguese side, even if they probably change their entire 11 from the previous season to the following season. You get flair, you get that commitment, you get that pacey side. And for the Germans, of course, efficiency is all about is what the game is all about. I think this is going to be probably one of the games of the midweek. But I still think Frankfurt, being the fact that they are going to be playing at home, should be able to hedge this. But I think it's going to be very close.
I don't know. I don't really fancy Frankfurt that much, and the way they play, I don't know, for some strange reason. I don't think it's going to be more than a draw. For me, I start to be corrected anyways. Sheyi, I want to come to you. Inter Milan versus Bayern Munich. Inter look directionless right now. That's the word. When you look the way they play, 1 minute they're looking like a world-class team, and the next minute they're playing like headless chickens. And I'm wondering what exactly is happening there. And but the only good thing about it is Dzeko, for me, should be starting ahead of Lukaku.
Thank you.
Dzeko should be starting ahead of Lukaku in that team. I stand to be corrected. But honestly, that's what I think.
It
But
was
what do
our
you think?
gain. It was Milan's gains over the weekend, starting Lukaku and Dzeko.
No, Kachi, even the game
Even
between
before then,
against
Lukaku was
Lazio,
13.
against Lazio was the same thing. Against Lazio it was the same thing. Dzeko came in. I'm like, oh, is this guy really 30, 35 or 36 or whatever his age is right now? Like, and he's playing this way, and Lukaku is not offering so much to the team compared to what Dzeko brings to the team. I don't know. Shey, Inter are playing at the San Siro. Excuse me.
Yeah, Inter playing at the San Siro. I think if we look at the two teams, we can obviously see that Bayern has been better in terms of what they've done in their respective leagues. Bayern has not been obviously super also, maybe because of the loss of Lewandowski to Barcelona. But you still cannot say the inclusion of Mane has not really worked for them. I think it has also, done a little bit of positive, what's it called, to the team.
Energy. I give you a little bit of positive
Positive energy, right? I think it's going to be a slim win for Bayern. It's not going to be a walk in the park for them, but I think the German team just have that they are better suit this season compared to Inter. You guys just discussed about Inter still trying to know the best striker to use. I think Dzeko has been in that team for the last 2 years now, and obviously should be the first choice. But Lukaku, Lukaku was professing the love for Inter while he was at Chelsea. So I think the loyalty is what is bringing Lukaku into the team. But obviously you can
they can
reintegrate both.
him slowly back into the team. I'm not saying
Yeah,
Lukaku is a bad player, but they can just do it slowly. Because
yes,
what is offering Dzeko is doing times 2 of whatever it is that he's offering right now.
Obviously, and we've always known Dzeko even during his time at Man City. Yeah, at City, you know that Dzeko is really a team player. He makes the whole attack better. And you know what Lukaku was actually moved out of Man U for? The break of play, couldn't link up perfectly with the likes of Rashford. But obviously, the coach knows better. I think as the season, goes along, he's going to find a way to either play the two, one way or the other, or know who to start first.
Okay.
But as regards this match, I think it's going to be a slim win for Bayern.
For Bayern, right? Okay, perfect. Yes. I'm taking notes. I have to go and check my team on whatever it is that is called
UCL
Fantasy League. Yeah. Kachi, but this is simple anyways. I'm not going to ask you, so I'm just going to gloss over it. Barcelona versus Victoria Pilsen at Camp Nou. I'm not going to ask you that one. So I want us to go to Napoli versus Liverpool. Unless a miracle happens.
Mm-hmm. Let's not forget that Victoria Pilsen also had a surprise some years ago. I can't remember if it was even Barcelona they surprised 5 or 6 years ago.
But this is not going to happen again. Barcelona.
Yeah, but the eye of things star Barcelona.
Allow you tackle. No. Yeah, Kachi, I'm not going to give you that. I want you to tackle Napoli, Liverpool. That looks better on paper. And when you look at what Carvalho is doing right now, the youngster, like, oh, this is good. Avi Elliott, not too bad as well. But you just look at the Liverpool team, like something is missing here, and probably Napoli could come for the kill.
This, I believe, is the match of the round, game of the first match day. Napoli currently topping the Italian Serie A table, albeit on the same points as AC Milan, but playing much better football, at least in their local league, than Liverpool. Secondly, I was going to mention this at the start of the show that we now see the reason why Sir Alex Ferguson always refreshes his team after 3 or 4 seasons, 4 years together. this is what is happening to Liverpool right now. There's a lot of static, or should I just say static? Let's put it that way. In that team, they need to be refreshed. No, there's no um, motivation, so to speak, right now. We even saw
Kachi,
the
I'm gonna fight with you. I'm gonna fight with you. I'm really gonna fight with you. 2 weeks ago, when the issue of FSG out came out, I
Mhm.
said it, and you're talking about Kachi. Kachi, don't even
Yeah,
go
but
to
2 weeks is a long
don't
time. It's enough time for me to change my mind.
Kachi,
2 weeks.
don't even go to static right now because you were like FSG has done well.
I
And
know
making
this
it
is what I
possible.
said. This is what I said. I said they have always bought players. I'm not talking about the coach. This is not FSG's problem because if the coach
Is
no,
FSG's
if the
problem.
if
You have
club
to
goes to them
you need
with a
money.
list, they
You
will
need
get the
money to
players.
refresh. You need money to refresh.
And who says they are not investing? Don't forget that FSG has invested in Milan now. So it's not as if the money is
Of
not there.
course.
I
Oh,
think
okay,
it's the
I see where
coach.
the love is coming from
I
now.
think it's the coach being too satisfied with the players
Bless
he
you.
has. So bless you, Olale. I think right now we are seeing, and like I said, hindsight is 2020. Now you understand why Sir Alex Ferguson always refreshes his team every 4 years. Klopp should take the same. But that aside, when we discuss Liverpool, for
I will
this
never
game,
agree with.
because Napoli is playing at home, I
Yeah.
think they are a well-oiled machine, even though they lost Lorenzo Insigne. I expect them to get the win. Liverpool right now does not have an identity. They are not even playing in the image of Jurgen Klopp anymore. And it's going to take a long time before they get their mojo back. Look, Napoli to win this.
Anyways, I'm pretty sure, if time permits, I'm pretty sure we'll talk about it when we
Mhm,
get to EPL. But
mhm.
I'm wondering how they will with this with
We'll
Darwin
see.
Nunes in that team. Alani, Atletico Madrid versus Porto is going to be happening at the Granada Stadium. Atletico Madrid is just Atletico Madrid. I don't want to talk about them again. It's Atletico Madrid.
I think the
and
team has been static. The team has been static for a while.
sorry, just to chip in one thing. Atletico Madrid doesn't want to pay 35 million pounds for
To Barcelona.
Barcelona so that
So
they will
so
not lose.
they are managing
Griezmann.
Griezmann.
They
Griezmann's
cannot play more than
minutes.
they cannot play more than 39 minutes per game.
And you
You
people
know
want
this
to
part.
tell me that Diego Simone is not an Igbo man. He's definitely from
Spanish.
Nnewi.
Spanish teams are just there is something not too straightforward about the way they do their deals. From Real Madrid to Barcelona down to
All of them.
Atletico Madrid, they are just crooks. So, but looking at the game proper, I just think the Atletico Madrid has probably gotten to a stage where I don't think with all due respect to Diego Simeone, I don't think he can probably add anything much to this team again. They just looks a bit static, nothing in terms of motivation or any new idea coming in on how they want to do things a bit different. So we know what to expect. It's going to be a boring game. It's going to be very dry, and probably it's going to be a draw game. I don't see any joy in this game at all. At all.
It's going to be a snooze fest.
When Spurs got their draws of the Champions League, they said, "Who are we playing in the next round?" That's what they said. But now they are going to be playing against Marcel. You know who I'm going to support for this game, obviously. I'm not apologetic about it. I love all the club in the world, even Manchester United, except Spurs.
Tottenham
So
Hotspurs.
yeah, I don't like them. They've not even won a trophy since 14 years. So can you even call that a football club? Shay, Sports versus Marcel happening at their stadium in North London.
Obviously, I understand why you are going to support Marseille for this match. The obvious reasons of
Alexis
them
Sanchez is
playing,
there.
them playing Tottenham one. Then number two, them playing a team that parades. I think Nuno Tavares, Matteo
Yeah,
Wow.
Guendouzi,
yeah, you see,
Alexis Sanchez.
The,
exactly.
I think that's
the Arsenal
another
alumni.
Arsenal.
The Arsenal alumni.
Exactly.
The Arsenal
That's
team
what I
coming
love.
from France. So obviously you support Marseille. But I think this particular tie is going to be very, very interesting. I will be actually looking out for this game. Most likely will be end-to-end stuff. Of course, obviously, Tottenham will do the attacking when they're supposed to do it and go back to defend. I know Olawale
Tottenham
we think.
Tottenham will share possession with the worst team in the world.
Yes, I think Tottenham is playing at home.
Don't let him break your thought. Continue, please.
I think Tottenham they are playing at home, and I think they will attack when they're supposed to attack. But obviously, when you see Tottenham leading, they are going to go back and form their normal line. But it's going to be very interesting, and there might not just be a winner in this tie. I'm predicting a draw. A score draw.
Olale, do you agree with a draw in this tie?
Well, I think the Spurs will probably, one way or the other, find the way of getting the victory. I think it will not be pretty because nobody should expect anything pretty from that Spurs or Conte's team. But they have the experience. They have those guys that on their own nights they can single-handedly decide the game, and I think that is just what will be enough for them. I think they will win, but it will be ugly. If you are watching it, you are going to slip off.
All right, perfect. Kachi?
I expect this is a contest team. I expect it to be high octane because it's a contest team. Marseille will have a chance to play because Conte does not. It doesn't yet know how to choke the life out of you as a coach. But I definitely expect Spurs to win it. Game. But it will be unlike what Olawale said. I think it will be an interesting game to watch simply because Marseille would create chances as well.
Okay, probably because of Dimitri Payet. Because of Dimitri Payet, it's going to be interesting.
Exactly.
Alexis will score. You wanted to say something?
I said Marseille, they are actually playing quite well.
I've seen a couple of their games.
Yes. Or even on the log, they're actually having the same point with PSG at the moment. They are still unbeaten, and I think they will actually bring that to this game, and it won't really be a walkover
for Spurs.
Yeah, for Spurs.
Spurs cannot walk anybody over. That's just the truth. They can run you over, but they can't walk you over. Club Brugge versus Bayer Leverkusen. Kachi.
Can we just skip these ones?
I think we should skip it. Both teams are rife with inconsistency. Club Brugge, obviously, because of where they are playing in Belgium, thinks that they are the king of the world, and then they come and face the big boys in Europe and realize, wow, our standard is not at the level.
Kachi, you are the most ungrateful human being that I know. Club Brugge single-handedly gave their best player over the past 2 seasons, and this is how you're going to repay them.
Well, if those players also knew they needed bigger and tougher challenges to become the best in the world. Club Brugge is a factory. What they've done over the years, not just last 2 years, is to give everybody in the league in Europe decent players to develop. So it's par for the course. I really don't want to waste too much time. Anybody can win that game because they are both.
Honestly speaking.
All right, perfect. I'm hoping the Busa Diaby will score anyways, whatever the outcome is. Moving straight to the EPL right now. Lot of talking points in the EPL, but we're going to start with the Merseyside derby. Everton at home against Liverpool. Everton, they've looked for the better part of the season like a team that is devoid of ideas, devoid of confidence, but they came into the game, played it cool, and they were unlucky. And Olale, just before we analyze this game, I just want to ask you. No, I'm not going to ask you. I'm going to ask Kachi. Neil Mapao or Mape. I don't know if I'm pronouncing his name very well. The French young kid. Mape. She seemed to have a soft spot for the kid. You know, I'm wondering, Everton, they are looking for someone that can score them goals, that can score goals for them. And you decide to go and buy that guy that needs 100 chances to score one. Anyways, Kachi, do you think that guy is the right guy that will push them forward as an attacker, as their number nine, as their target man?
Well, I think Everton still believes it's Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Um, Mopé is just a
Back
standing
up.
gap. Yes, he's going to be the number two guy to Calvert-Lewin.
I hope so.
Let's not forget that if Calvert-Lewin did not get injured in the very first game of the season, this transfer may not have happened.
Yeah, 100%.
So we should take that into consideration to say, okay, how attractive is Everton as a club? Right now, even in their own city, they are the second best team. Not to talk of the league. Secondly, we know that they are just extending their potential drop into the lower league, the championship. So there are just a limited number of people that can
That I
come
want to go
or
to.
will be
Okay.
attracted to come to
All right.
Everton. So you
Uh,
don't blame them. It's what they can get in the market. I may like Omo, but all I have money to buy is those
it's
sachet
clean.
detergent, and
Yeah.
that's
All
that's
right.
what you get. Yeah.
Prof, I just thought it's a mismatch getting that guy with
They should have probably
club.
gone to FC Club Brugge to go and find some new people there, right?
Exactly. Even taking, I'll rather get Danny Welbeck from Brighton than that guy. 60%, 61% of the possession for Liverpool on the day, 39 or 40 for Everton. Looks like a good game for Everton at the end of the day, and I'm super excited the way Alex Iwobi is playing right now. Coming to the middle of the park, it looks like the guy to go to with ideas filled in his head. He's still a little bit too raw, but the way he's playing, it's a standard apple what we used to see. And Olale, I'm gonna come to you because we discussed this last week, and I think you brought up this discussion as well. Um, Darwin Nunes coming back into the team for some strange reason, it kills the attacking vibe of Liverpool. Given that he's a static number nine, and going second back couple of years back, um, Benteke was the best player or the best striker for Liverpool. When Klopp came, Klopp said, "I don't want this guy because he's static." I thought from the onset that Darwin Nunes can play as an SS, a supporting striker, but it looks a little bit too static, and it takes a little bit of that vibe away from Liverpool, and give players like Salah more work to do getting the goals that they are used to getting compared to when Firmino now came in. Firmino creating deep from the first nine role compared to what Danny Lewis was doing. What do you think the possible solution will be for Liverpool in this kind of dilemma?
It's going to be a long transition for them, and as it is now, it doesn't look good. Two things: in as much as Danny Nunes is taking away the space, because number one, I was surprised about the transfer based on two grounds. One, this guy has not been really the head of a year. It was just that latter part of the Champions League that we've seen him. This is the guy that was almost joining Brighton Athletic. On the other hand, with what I've seen of him, I think it looks like a guy on his own that will probably need 10 chances to score two. It doesn't look that composed. I don't see that composure there. And it's taking away the space from a player like Mo Salah. From the statistics now, from average position of Mo Salah in these first 6 games, a lot of observers, a lot of guys into analytics have observed that Salah is playing wider than what he normally do. Unlike the previous season, in as much as Salah stays wide, he drifts in a lot. But now he's staying too much to the left
Like
side.
a like like a, like a typical winger.
Exactly. And this is all probably to accommodate Danny Nunes, who is not mobile. And considering the fact that they've just lost Mane, who adds that extra bit of everything to them. With all due respect to Luis Diaz,
Yes.
fantastic player, In fact, I've been impressed. He's the one that I've a little bit been impressed with this Liverpool team. But Manny brings in something different. So I think a couple of things is affecting them, and with the way they now look very light in midfield. Of course, in the past we've said it that Liverpool doesn't really rely on that midfield to create chances like that. But still, yet there is a way.
It
There
should
is a
not be a
way.
bypass.
Exactly, it should not just be a bypass. So now it looks a bit ordinary. If you look at the game, even at 40% possession, Everton had enough chances on that night to probably win them the game. Liverpool
Yeah.
looks like they are laboring, and Salah seems to be. And Salah, if you look at Salah, it looks like he wasn't too much engaged until towards the end of the game
End of
when
the
we start
Firmino.
seeing more on the ball. And those few periods, you could see he actually hit the woodwork once. So
Yeah.
I just think everything is not looking. It's not really looking good for Liverpool as it is. It's already 6 matches after that Bournemouth win. Kudos to you. You actually called it. You said that win was not going to be. Is going to, like, I don't know how to put it. Like
Yeah.
you have actually mentioned that that win
It's
is
not
not
a
a
blessing. It's
reflection
not a
of
blessing.
the.
Yeah. What is
It's
happening?
not a blessing. It's not a reflection of what is happening to that Liverpool team. And we saw it against even Newcastle in the midweek. They are actually struggling, and they are really. And you see, even it's one thing that you are playing 0-0. It's another thing. It looks obvious like this team is laboring. Like it doesn't look like they don't look like themselves.
Let me ask you a question though. I see Carvalho and I see an exciting player. Is there a chance where Carvalho can play in the middle of the park, starting now, not as an impact player? Firmino, Fabio with whoever, Henderson or Otomelo, sitting a little bit deeper and him being the creative part, or Firmino playing in that role, not as a first line now, more like a 10, which was what he did when he was with Offenham. Do you think that would change the dynamics of the team?
Now there will be two options now, because from my own perspective, because we are playing a Daniel Nunes who looks very static, it will only make sense to play a number 10. Liverpool has been playing more of a 4-3-3 for some years now. But because the 4-3-3 means Firmino drops a little bit into he plays more of a first nine, drops into like that number 10 role,
Number 10 role,
and
yeah.
allowing both Mane and Salah to drift
go
in
forward.
both from the left and the right. So there is a free movement. But with this, probably they might need to do a bit of adjustments into their formation to accommodate, to probably either, like what you said, it could be a Firmino playing more of a 10, or one of these guys like the Carvalho playing very close to the striker. Very, very close to the striker, because there seems to be a little bit of gap between that their midfield and attack now. And
Exactly.
I think the injury to, what do you call it?
Akanta,
To Matip and Konate is not really helping them, because I think defensively they are not. There is a little bit of they are not too. I'm not
they're
sure they are really
suspicious.
confident on Gomez. So Gomez and Van Dijk and what do you call it, and Arnold on that right side, when Arnold himself is a bit suspicious when it comes to defending, I think that combination is not really inspiring so much confidence. So I think for the first time in about 4-5 years, Jurgen Klopp has issues in his hand which he will need to solve. We have to see how flexible it could be tactically, because I think the issue they had 2 seasons ago, when that one was more of an injury issue.
Issue.
But this one, I think, is beyond injury. I think there is a bit of
it has to be a tactical approach to it.
exactly, and there's going to be a lot of now that this guy is back.
Can you hold the talk for one sec? Let me go to Kachi. Kachi, are you with us? Kachi,
Yeah.
I want to ask you a question. I love Jurgen Klopp. I love Thomas Tuchel, but they are from the same school of thoughts. And I'm noticing something: a tactical deficiency, a tactical dogmatism. They are dogmatic to their idea, Olale, please listen to the question because I'm going to come back to you, Shay. I'm going to come back to you with it as well. I know I wanted us to not to spend so much time, but this is a very, very germane issue to discuss. This is one of the biggest clubs in England as it stands right now. I see a coach, two coaches of similar ideology that dogmatic. Do you think this Jurgen Klopp will be able to tweak something, or he will just hope that miracle will happen? All those guys will come back and go back to playing Robinson and Klopp and and Arnold creating the chances for him. Salah with this present tactical play will not give us what Salah used to give to us. That is sure. I don't know if you disagree with me. Do you think this club will not go the same way and the same complaint that I've had about Thomas Tuchel for the past 1.5 years? Kachi.
Truthfully, I'm trying to think about it, and uh, I can't see a way out. Really, I think somehow teams have figured out club the same way they figured out Tuchel. Unfortunately, it took Tuchel just 1 year. Klopp was able to enjoy that because he had dynamic players in himself. Um, but I find it very hard to disagree with you. It's looking like, I know you say it's not money, but yes, it's looking like there are a lot of players that have to be in that setting for what the message club wants to pass to work.
But Kachi, this is my problem. You have a player, you have player, and this system that you are using is not working. You're a coach. Do something else.
Debo, please
Well,
can I chip in something?
Yeah, sure.
Now,
Sabri,
I
go ahead,
think
please.
I think the injury to, I think with Diogo Jota back, let's see what is going to happen. I just think it will probably need to manage Danny Nunes minutes as it stands now. I think Diogo Jota,
Will be a better
Diaz and Salah
Salah
combination could probably work better for them. I think they will need to start from that point. Probably they will probably be bringing this guy in, why they can stabilize, what do you call it, and hopefully if they could quickly get either, I think if they can get Thiago and Matip back, I think it will cover for a lot of things. But how Klopp resolve this issue, I think will
I think
define
Matip
his
is
legacy.
back.
Is Matip back?
Yeah, Matip is back.
Oh.
He played the case of
Now,
Matip.
I think how Klopp resolves this mini crisis, because I still call it mini crisis, he has in his hand, who is going to define
But
his tenure.
why are they tactically dogmatic? That's my problem.
No, Debo, I think most coaches are tactically dogmatic. I think it's not something that is what do you call it? You can probably limit it to these German guys. I think this is what you see from every coaches. It takes the result to be going south completely before you see coaches. You see, when things have worked for you for a long period of time, it's difficult for you to just believe this thing will not work again. Something keeps telling you that you just want to give it time. That's okay.
That's true.
It's honestly, it's very difficult for you to move away from what has been working for you. Honestly speaking,
that's what killed me with the FPL. Sheyi, same question to you. Olale is saying it's not limited to Thomas Tuchel, but Tuchel has been doing the same thing for the last 1 year and it's not working. And even Olale said they don't have a tactical, or they don't even know how to play football. They don't understand how they want to play their football again. It's that bad. and still Olale, it's the same Olale I say when something it's not working for you again. Olale, I'm not asking you a question again, please. I'm asking you now. I'm not asking.
Why?
You know,
Why shouldn't Olale say something?
No. Wait. I don't want Sheyi to now answer this one. I'm using Olale's word against him now. For Sheyi now, help me make it make sense from Olale's perspective. You know, Sheyi is less emotional. No, Olale is less emotional. Sheyi is I don't know. He knows how to strike the balance. Olale can be an assassin. It's no emotions when it comes to football. Analysis, no emotions. Sheyi, go ahead, please.
Okay, I think we're talking about the problem, Liverpool's problem.
Yeah,
the biggest problem they have right now The biggest problem Klopp is facing now is putting Nunes, £80 million striker, on the bench.
Exactly.
Olawale actually picked the solution to this problem. Jota is back right now, and you can last season and even let's say last season we saw Jota, Luis, and Salah play together at a point. So I think that's the best system that allows Salah to keep doing what he knows how to do best. Nunes,
Mobility.
like Olawale said, is actually encroaching into the space of Salah. And Olawale said something last week that he will not be surprised if the numbers of Salah dropped this season. And that is actually what I'm seeing. But if Klopp decides to gradually incorporate Nunes, then I guess that will further work for them. Another thing is what I've noticed also, Debo.
Yeah.
What I've noticed again, Olawale, is that actually, what's his name? Firmino is one hidden jewel in that Liverpool team. Every time he plays with Salah, you see that long time understanding of those two players. And I think at the moment, Firmino is supposed to be playing. He should be the first guy to actually play that top
that's
nine.
the problem.
Just
That's
like Olawale said, he can make
how
a
do you
lot
go
of
about,
win
how
by
do you go
dropping
ahead
to
and
the
buy
midfield.
85 million euros and keep him on the bench? That's the
On the
problem.
bench.
How do you keep 85 million euros on the bench?
That
now?
is what Klopp needs to do at the moment. He needs to gradually incorporate him.
We'll wait and see whether Klopp will do that or not. Let's just. I'm pretty sure it will not, anyways. But let's see what happens in coming weeks. Anyways, let's move away from that. I messed up. I sold Tony for my team, and he scored an hat-trick against Leeds United. I'm pretty sure most people are like, okay.
I saw Rashford 3 weeks ago. Now he's scoring. See me.
He's scoring. Can you imagine? I want to buy him back before you go on the dry spell. Anyways,
you understand that kind of thing?
5-2 in favor of the Londoners while they beat Leeds United. Chelsea is another game, and I know we talked about officiating in England over and over again, but I don't understand how that is a foul on Mendy. Mendy parried the ball. He was not looking to grab the ball. Bowen did not hit him until he flew over Mendy. But for some strange reason, once the referee goes to that VAR, that's the end of it. He's going to rescind whatever decision he already had.
But I think we had one exception. Was it this week or last week? One referee stood by his decision even after going to it. But that I think it was only once that's happened.
That would be a very great referee. Because I don't understand. I'm not against Chelsea, but it does not make sense. But like Olawale will always say, decisions like this will come as the season goes along in favor of you and against you. This one is for Chelsea. Very soon or in coming weeks, there will be another one against them. But I know Kachi has profiled the best solution to this thing. Just bring all the referees from Germany, bring them to England. The ones in England, bring them to Germany. Or the one in Spain, bring them to, let's just diversify and look at this thing from a holistic way. But it's becoming unbecoming. What's the essence of VAR if they are not providing any solution? They are compounding the woes of the situation. And Kachi, how is Aubameyang going to solve the issue of this Chelsea team? I'm wondering if we are keeping up with this thing. Fofana, Koulibaly, Thiago Silva, Cucurella, Rhys James.
Aspilicueta or Rhys James.
Chilwell.
No, I'm talking about their first team now. Loftus-Cheek, what's his name?
Loftus-Cheek, yeah.
Yeah.
Sterling.
Jorginho. Sterling, Kai Havertz. Is Kai Havertz coming back a little bit to the back, playing as a 10, which is his best position, leaving Sterling to pair. It does not even make sense. Sterling pairing Aubameyang, but let's even give them now. Sterling pairing of Aubameyang. I think Tuchel has overstayed his welcome at Chelsea.
Not
Honestly,
really.
I know I'm harsh.
I think Tuchel. No, I don't think it's about overstaying their welcome. I think Tuchel should eat the humble pie and realize that he should be more flexible. I think one of the reasons he left PSG was because he was not flexible. We're beginning to see that now. Um, he should realize that what I have in mind may not necessarily work and work with the team he has, not necessarily with the formation he has in mind. Um, how it will work, I still don't know. But what I expect in the next few games is to see a change in formation, which will tell me that indeed I am playing to the strength of my players, or I'm setting up my players to play to the best of their strengths, and not necessarily how it should work on paper. We saw that with Conte. Everybody say what you want to say about Conte. Conte has shown a lot of flexibility, introducing the wing backs and changing the career of Moses for the better. You understand? That is what I expect to see. He got almost every single person he wanted. Yes, I know Barcelona puts a lot of spanners in their works, but at least 50% of the people he wanted, he got. I expect to see that in the change in his formation. If he doesn't, then I will support you and agree with you that he is a very stubborn grasshopper.
Debo, do you
Is
know the origin of the Chelsea problem? I think dated back to when Lampard was giving that money to Spain. I think the origin of the Chelsea problem started from the recruitment of Kai Havertz, Timo Werner, Pulisic, Ziyech. Now, this is the issue. I still believe if you have a Ziyech on the right side, Pulisic on the left side, flanking it forward, if they play to their strengths, if they play to their potential, that's a good combination. I think there is a bit of mismatch with this Chelsea team. Okay, you just mentioned it. Okay, you want to play Aubameyang, you want to play Sterling. Then that means Aubameyang will stay central. Sterling will probably drift to the left. Do you want to play Kai Havertz on the right, even if you are playing a 4-3?
He might want to play Kai Havertz in the hole behind the same road.
Where is Messi Mount? Where is Messi Mount?
Messi Mount will be on the bench. It's not good enough.
But do you trust Kai Havertz's creativity enough, even in that role? I think Kai Havertz is a bit overrated. In terms, of course, I think we just got carried away with Lampard spending, was it 87 million pounds when he doesn't even need him at all from Bayer Leverkusen. Kai Havertz is overrated in terms of what he brings to the game.
But Olale, in all fairness to Lamps, Kai was not Lamps signing. Lamps wanted Aubameyang,
and they went for Kai Havertz for him.
Yeah.
So for me, I think that squad is not balanced. There is not enough balance in that squad. The only guys that can bring balance to those to the squad, they are very inconsistent, and that is Pulisic and what do you call it? Because I've actually looked at this. Even if this guy wants to change from the 3 at the back to the 4-3-3, does really have that much start to play 4-3-3 as it stands now?
He does. He plays Sterling to the left forward and play Ziyech or Pulisic to the right forward. The both
okay.
But
as it stands now, Chelsea lacks identity in terms of what they want to do, and I think the ability to keep clean sheets in the past has been their saving grace. Now they are now conceding goals. They have to look for the goals somehow. So we said that thing will not continue. So now I'm sure if Abramovich was still in charge, Tuchel will be gone before December.
Yeah, sure.
What it is.
Joe Willock was pushed, and he was pushed against the goalkeeper
Yes.
of Crystal Palace, and Gil scored an own goal. And for some strange reason, they went to VAR, and the referee did not
Castle
see
the
that.
ball. And
Did not see that Willock was pushed by a Crystal
A
Palace
Crystal Palace
player.
player.
I don't understand. Shay, please help me. I don't understand. I don't understand football. Help me
is
now.
that it is hard to to explain anything out of this. I think English refs are back at it. Different scenarios. I think different issues also happened over the weekend. I'm sure we'll still get to the Arsenal Man U match also. The Chelsea match also. They cancelled a goal. I think
Even the
Aston
Brighton
Villa
game.
Man City.
Mm-hmm.
Aston Villa Man City,
Yeah,
Coutinho.
that Coutinho.
Quite a lot.
Yeah.
So I don't know what to even
Just in
explain
one
right
week.
now.
In 1 week.
In 1 week, exactly, just one game week. So I think it's just the English ref and even the VAR operators back at it, having two different interpretations.
When you have
The
the
ref at the
Mason as your
middle
VAR
and
official, you're in trouble.
Les Mis, and also the guys at the VAR that are supposed to help the ref they are actually coming up with a different interpretation. So it's just a total human error from the man in the middle and the people helping them, the guys behind the VAR. Total mess.
All right, perfect. And of course,
I wanted to say something. This is the reason why only two English referees were selected to officiate at the forthcoming World Cup, FIFA World Cup. Say what you want to say about them, but their standard has been terribly, or should I say, terribly inconsistent. I was not even expecting any of them to be selected, but well, I guess with
You know,
Taylor and Oliver, we can still manage those two. But the word is manage. We will manage those two referees.
Yeah, manage.
yeah.
Kachi, do you know one thing? I'm one of the biggest fan of VAR, but I can tell you for free that the English ref have become, as in, they become worse, as in worse of without VAR than when
Exactly.
they have VAR now.
Yeah, 100%. I agree with
because it's just a old disaster. I think the interpretation of the game has become a big thing, and I think what VAR should be able to do or interfere with has made it a more complicated. But apart from that, some things are just very simple. Look at the man's what do you call it, the Newcastle game. If you could rewatch and you see that somebody pushed this guy to your,
Exactly.
that's very simple.
Very
That one doesn't even have to do with any interpretation.
Exactly. It
That
was
is
very
just,
simple.
I don't know how somebody will get that one wrong. There
And
is
it's
no
the same
excuse to get that one wrong.
And Olale, it's the same thing that happened last season, Manchester United versus Arsenal. That Saka was awarded that penalty against Arsenal. For Arsenal, rather. Someone pushed, Eddie Nketiah already scored. Someone pushed Saka and they went back to the VAR like, okay, they pushed someone, go take the penalty. It's very simple. Anyways, I think they pushed the trigger a little bit too soon at Bournemouth by sacking Scott Parker. Bournemouth came out from the dead against their fellow championship team, Nottingham Forest, to defeat them 3-2. United entertaining one. Tottenham Hotspur defeated Fulham 2-1, Mitrovic with that wonderful goal, and of course Hillberg with that not so beautiful goal. Wolverhampton Wanderers defeated Southampton 1-0 as well, while Aston Villa played a 1-1 draw against City. Olale, I see if you come out and you play very well, you're not so scared of City, and you have your tactics correctly. I think City is not a team that will beat you like 6. If you're not Arsenal, I know City and Liverpool always beat Arsenal any day, anytime. But if you are one of those small teams and you are not so scared of them, you might probably get a point off City. Go back to their against Crystal Palace. Look at their game against Aston Villa. And as a matter of fact, against Aston Villa, I felt they were going to kill Villa because the kind of team that they paraded, Gundogan, Rodri, Kevin De Bruyne playing in the middle of the park, playing Bernardo, Haaland, and Foden in front. Like, okay, they are all for the killing. You have like 5 attacking players there that can actually score five different goals. Gundogan, Kevin De Bruyne, Haaland, and Haaland made just 11 touches before he scored his goal. That's another thing to watch out for. He has 10 goals. You understand he's scoring the goals, but that's another thing to watch out for. Just
It takes away that extra. I think Alan takes away that extra man from that City team in terms of the way they play.
Exactly.
Of course, it's going to take a little bit of. I think what Guardiola will eventually probably do to Alan is, I think Kachi made mention of this, is what probably happens to Aubameyang's, Lewandowski career, whereby he became more of an all-round player rather than just a goal scorer. Yeah, at Bayern Munich, just like something like what you see in Karim Benzema is a center forward, but a center forward that can give you a lot of things. Yeah, I'm sure behind the scene, Guardiola will be working on this, because I think if there's one thing we've known Guardiola for, is one of the things he doesn't like is he doesn't like a standing nine. He doesn't like it. He doesn't like it. So, but on the part of whether City, the way they play, if you could fancy your chance, if you can get to them, yes, but that same thing can get you beaten by. That's the same that can get you beaten by 6 goals to nothing. But again, you have to kudos to Aston Villa. I think they had to. Gerrard had to do a little bit of tweak, and again, I think Aston Villa against bigger teams, I think they have a way of showing up and coming to the party. I think when they have the problem is when they are playing against their fellow teams within their exactly. Yeah. So but I think it made a bit of a tactical adjustment. One of the issues they've been having is a bit of a creativity issue. They don't actually play with natural wit. You can hardly see a winger play. They play Coutinho behind 2 strikers. Now, the 3 other guys, they play something close to a diamond formation. The 3 other guys doesn't really bring much, what do you call it, creativity into the team. Yeah, so most times they have to rely basically on Coutinho, or if they have Emiliano Buendia on the pitch to bring. So what I think he actually did this time around was to probably go to more with a 4-3-3. Bailey is more of a conventional winger, yes, and put somebody. So the 3 guys in midfield were very hardworking, trying to, as much as possible, they deny City a lot of space. And one funny thing about football, in as much as City looks very comfortable for the first 60 minutes, it looks like a game they could have easily lost if the referee did not blow that whistle very early, because Coutinho goal will have, because the only reason why VAR could not interfere was because the referee actually blew the whistle before Coutinho hits the ball, strike the ball. So very encouraging for this thing for Aston Villa. Can they sustain it? Can they bring that same energy, that same from this? I think he needs to play with natural wit in that team, rather than trying to play too narrow and relying on your fullbacks to do most of the, what do you call it, giving you most of the width from the distance.
And it's looking a little bit good for them. They are playing against the bottom team in the league right now, Leicester City, on Saturday. After that, they have Southampton. Then they have Leeds United. They have Nottingham Forest before they host Chelsea at home. So it's there for the take if they are serious and willing to go the extra length. Sheyi, what happened? The 2 Scandinavians, Martin Odegaard and Eriksen. Was that a foul?
I think any other place on the pitch, you can argue that that's a foul. The only issue is the distance to the goal. I think that happened actually inside Arsenal's half.
No.
If
Inside United's
I'm
half.
right.
It's inside United's half. No.
Just beyond the center circle.
Yeah, I think just a little bit beyond
Beyond the
the
center circle,
center
yeah.
circle. Yeah, and it's I think it's a tough one on Arsenal fans, but as a Manchester United fan, I think I'm going to take it. There was a slight push.
No.
There's a slight push on Eriksen from the
Uh-huh.
back. I recall the analysis of the I think it was is it Damot, the
Okay.
head of EPL referees. They were
Okay.
comparing the part of the Leicester game. That's the Leicester goal. The one
Yeah.
that
McAllister.
no Leicester's goal, the very first Leicester's
Is
goal.
it Daka or is it the one of Iheanacho?
Daka.
That's
Daka
Iheanacho's goal. I think
Okay.
Iheanacho's goal. This guy actually did a
Iheanacho.
side to side bump on one of the Brighton players.
Yeah.
Collected the ball and laid a
Daka,
pass.
okay.
That was what led to the first goal.
Kelechi.
So the two difference is that the other one was side by side, but
This one is the
Odegaard's
hand.
foul was from behind, and
And he
also
laid his two
he actually
hands.
his two hands on Eriksen at that point, and he didn't also touch the ball at any point in time. So you could pick that as an obstruction to Eriksen to actually
No.
probably made a pass on its own.
I think for me,
And
I think Arteta summed it up perfectly. I think Arteta didn't have any issue with that foul. The only thing he made mention was the consistency from the referee. That okay, he understands this, but if they had something similar that Ramsdale was pitched down by what do you call it, the Aston Villa guys for their equalizer in the midweek. Sheyi, I think that's this is actually the question is this.
But Ale, just before you go on, just give me 1 sec. The one that Maguire did on Eddie Nketiah towards the end of
That
the
should have
game.
been a foul. That should have been a penalty too.
That's a problem.
That's where the consistency comes from now. That should have been a penalty too. But for this, I think my own question is this now. If the referee has actually if the referee actually blew his whistle immediately, I don't think any Arsenal fan will have an issue with that. Is this a foul or not a foul? It's actually a foul. I mean, it's actually a foul, and it's directly led to a goal because that ball was won. It was a one-time pass from another. I think was it from Saka? It was a one-time pass from Saka that to Martinelli that led to that goal. So, but for me, I think looking at the game in general, Arsenal were the better side. Apart from the first 15 minutes, when United were a bit on top of their game, trying to spread the ball around, I think Arsenal transit the ball better. They look more like a team who probably understood what their coach probably wants from them. They were more dangerous. They were pushing the ball around. But I think the major difference between Arsenal and United in this game today, I think, was Christian Eriksen. His ability to, and I think that was what Odegaard was trying to do there. They were trying to pressure him very hard, they don't want to give him enough time, because his ability to pick up those vertical passes, trying to find Fernandes in an advanced role, was the reason why United won this game. Arsenal were the better side for more than 60 minutes of the game, but my major worry was their game management. At 1-1, why did Arsenal push up that high? They pushed up.
That's my next question. Arsenal is not used to playing, and I see a replication of Guardiola in Arteta overthinking in some situations.
At 1-1, there was no need to push that high.
He did the same thing against Spurs last season. Arsenal just needed to draw against Spurs to qualify for the Champions League, cruise home and whatnot, and decided to play an high-line defense against Spurs. He did the same thing against United today. And at 2-1, Arsenal still could have drawn the game, they had the chance to draw the game, and he made a three substitution of Fabio Vieira, Eddie Nketiah, and Emile Smith Rowe. Emile Smith Rowe and Pablo Vieira, they would cancel each other out because they play the same role on the field, except Rowe is playing a Martinelli position. Martinelli was dropped back to the left side, like three, left back, while Saka was left on the right hand side. You could have simply interchanged it, and you don't need an Emile Rowe and a Fabio Vieira that you've not been using all season together. And it shows me just one thing: I'm not against Arteta. I don't like him, but I'm not against him. He manages us now, so I'm not against him. But he needs to show a little bit of cool-headedness in situations like this. He did not. I don't know if you guys see it, and I want to sample your opinion about it. But at that point, that triple substitution was not needed. And the in-game management of Eddie Ten Hag shows a coach that understands what he's doing. Olali, that's those three substitutions. Was it needed?
Okay, it's back.
Okay. Yeah, those three substitutions that Arteta did he need those three substitutions? Picking as Smith Rowe, Fabio Vieira, that simply plays the same wing, and dropping Martinelli to the left back. It doesn't make sense against a United. But Arsenal is not playing against Nottingham Forest and looking for a goal. They're playing against United at Old Trafford. Olali.
Yeah, like I said earlier, I think his game management was actually poor. You got back into the game at 60 minutes. There was 30 minutes to end the game. By dropping that very high and with somebody like Eriksen on the field, you made the work of United very, very easy. Very, very easy. And I think he forgot that Marcus Rashford was still on the pitch, who could quickly, drift from that left and chase any pass that is dropped behind the defense. So I think he got that one wrong perfectly. And those substitutions, I agree with you. I think they were probably too much. Probably there was no need for you to change the structure of the team completely. And even if there was any need to change that structure, I think he did something similar. Was it against? You could have probably, like what you said, Martinelli could have come to the right side. He could still play on the right. Saka is more suited to drop down as a left back or something as a left wing back, whichever the case may be. Yeah. I just think probably, I think that probably disrupts a bit of the team structure. But I think the bigger picture for me is this. Like, even despite the fact that Arsenal dominated, those United goals doesn't even look like a counter-attack. In as much as I just think it was unnecessarily pushing too much high. And I think they missed a bit of Thomas Partey. Because if you look at the first goal, right from the United half, the way Eriksen picked up Fernandes, at that point when Fernandes approached the Arsenal defense, if there was a natural defensive midfielder there, it could have been the one to tackle Fernandes. But because both Granit Xhaka and Saliba were a bit high, it forced Saliba to come out. I think it was Saliba that nearly that committed that foul that the referee allowed it to go.
No, yeah. Gabriel.
Oh, it was Gabriel. I think Gabriel was forced to move out of his own position.
Yeah.
To attack Fernandes. I think that would have been a work of a DM because I think it was very. And to be fair to Gabriel, he doesn't have any choice at that point. He will need to come and.
Olale, do you know why I'm laughing? You know why I'm laughing? Last week, in the middle of the week, I started playing against Aston Villa. Or was it last week against Fulham?
No, it's the middle of the week. Middle of the week.
And people were complaining about Mohamed Elneny, that he does not know what he's doing. That all he does is just 1, 2, 3 passes. And today I responded back to the person. I said, "Do you now notice the work of Elneny?" He said he does not. I said, "Case closed. I'm never going to talk to you about football again. Ever in my life. I will never talk to you about football again. If you don't see the work of Elneny today, as much as Sami Lokonga and Xhaka tried in this game, and Elneny, not even Thomas Partey. Thomas Partey is high level, and Elneny will have closed down and will be in that position at that particular point in time.
For that
And
first goal.
yeah, even the other goals where those guys were pushing up, Elneny would have covered and stood for Saliba and Gabriel more. Nobody was shooting those guys. Not against a fast Marcus Rashford. But anyways, Onale, you did a very wonderful analysis of it. I love what you did. And I need to reiterate it. I love the in-game management of Erik ten Hag. He did not bring in Casemiro on time. He waited and brought in Fred. That is a show of excellence. And like Sheyi said, I have no doubts. I have no doubts. And I will reiterate it that Manchester United could be a contender for the league this season. I have no doubt about that.
I think that's a bit too much for them.
No, I'm not saying. No, yeah, it might be unrealistic, but when you see a coach that understands what he should do, only some coaches will have pressed panic buttons. It's still Scott, McTominay, and Eriksen in the middle of the park. He's not even looking at Fred and Casemiro just yet, and he's balancing the team well. And what Antonio brings to that scene is something
priceless.
United should just, if United can cancel the contract of Ronaldo tomorrow, I'm a big Ronaldo fan, but it's going to be a problem. Ronaldo, they did not even need to bring in Ronaldo when they did. That would have been a mistake if United did not win this match. They don't even need Ronaldo for anything.
Yeah.
Ronaldo is not needed in this team at all.
He's not part of the project. He shouldn't be part of that project.
He's not part of this project at all. He's not needed at all. United needs a mobile. What they needed is a mobile forward, and those boys are mobile. Even Antonio Martial is mobile. Antonio is going to cause havoc. But Sheyi, I'm going to ask you this question. Do you think United is going to be a contender for the league if they keep up and improve on the way they are playing? It's a gradual process. I understand it. But we might see another season where City is not ready to win the league.
It will just be open for everybody. Liverpool is messing up already.
You know, Arsenal is just a backward team that you don't know what to expect from them. Spurs definitely will be Spurs. They will never win anything in their life. So do you think honestly, I feel so. I strongly feel so. But do you agree with me, Shane?
Anyway, like Olawale said, I think it's too early to say, but we can see what Erik ten Hag is actually putting together in that team, and if it happens to be a season where all the big guns just happen to slip up,
to switch off,
yeah, we can see a possibility of that United team being in the top two. Winning the league, I might not say, but in the top two. Because if you see what Erik ten Hag actually said after the game, he said Anthony brings in something different, that the other attackers, they like to play from the left or from the center. So what he has been doing along is to actually play them where they really don't like to play, but they have to play. So having Anthony gives him
a better dynamic.
You know, the perfect attacking quartet.
Okay, yeah. Shall you continue?
Now, no, just hold on. And that's just talking about the attacking line. There's still a missing link in the attacking line, which I believe they are going to address maybe in January or next season. They still need a striker. You cannot, of course, throw out that fact.
They don't need a striker.
They still need somebody to deputize for Martial at the end of the day. Meanwhile,
of course,
Rashford will do it, and Ronaldo will be an impact player if he's not going to disrupt the dressing room. That's the truth.
Your statement. Debo. Your statement about the in-game management of Erik ten Hag, I think that is actually what should be giving Manchester United fans the kind of mind to see a coach that can actually win a league. I've seen this over the last 3 games, even though the Liverpool game was like game of emotions and all that. But the last 3 games, we've seen his substitutions to calm the game or to increase the pace. There was no difference in the Arsenal game. The moment Arsenal took over the midfield was when he brought in Fred. You mentioned that he didn't bring in Casemiro, and there was a reason for that. Fred is a better chaser of players. Fred was supposed to block all the spaces, chase everybody down.
And he actually became a
notice
nuisance. He became a nuisance on
exactly?
Arsenal.
And do you notice that it was actually that substitution that brought in those other goals? Because he was actually picking up balls from them. And if Ten Hag is that coach that will sit down, watch games, make substitutions, and make things happen with the type of players he has right now, and probably additional ones that is going to get on board, definitely I agree with you. In the next 1 or 2 seasons, this United team might be a team to worry about.
Thank God that United did not get Frankie de Jong. If they have got
that is where I'm already going to. Debo, do you know that what Eriksen is doing for him? At the beginning of the season, we're asking, like, how is he going to play Eriksen and what do you call it? And Bruno together. But Eriksen being more of a possession-based player, somebody who probably sees what most other players cannot see in terms of his vision, in terms of passes. You could see the way he's using Eriksen to build transition from the deeper position. And one of the major problems about United in the past has always been their transition. Nobody with that eyes to bring the ball. And you could see McTominay with Eriksen is not that bad. Eriksen is making McTominay look very good. Unlike when you pair McTominay and Fred together, and both of them are just all over the place. And you could see what Eriksen is doing is why he's looking for Frankie de Jong. If Man U could get Frankie de Jong, that team would be something different. It will be game over. Because the transition will be mad. And you see those front three, you could see Bruno now. Bruno could just focus on those is hero ball,
attacking,
all those final pass. Nobody expects him to bring any playmaking. Exactly.
And go figure something. This is just a transition. At the end of the day, McTominay is going to drop back to the bench. Casemiro
exactly
that position that McTominay is playing right now.
Exactly.
In-game management will be Fred coming in for them, or McTominay coming in and joining
to block the holes.
Varane and
Lisandro Martinez
as the third centre back. It looks very exciting, and I'm very excited about Antonio. I'm not going to lie about you. Anyways, that's the show. My name is Serena Adeboale. Till next week when we see you again. Thank you very much for staying tuned. Don't stop supporting sports.